Okay, so this is a video I've been wanting to make for a minute. It's about The Last of Us Season 2. Now, I just want to preface what I'm about to say with I am a huge fan of the first game and the first season of the show. I think the first season of the show was pretty well adapted. I'm not gonna lie, I think it was alright. And I think everyone in the second season of The Last of Us, I think they're good actors. I really think they are. But the game and the show are very, very different, and it's more for the second season. The second season is filled with, characters that are growing, they're progressing. We physically see from their appearances that they've grown, and the way they act. They're no longer the characters that we've seen in the first game. And I really wanted to touch on Ellie. We'll kind of go through maybe 2 or 3 characters, but I just wanted to talk about how terrible the writing is, and just how I feel like the showrunners and the writers don't really understand the characters they're adapting, and more on Ellie. I feel like Ellie is not how she was in the game, and I feel like that's very important to get right. I feel like like I said, all the writers were out for fucking sushi. Because it doesn't seem like this is the same character. Ellie, after, I guess the timelines are different compared to the game and the show. In the game, Joel dies and it's still winter time, and then by the time Seattle, Dina and Ellie make it to Seattle, it's no longer winter time. There's no more snow, I guess. I don't know the season. But in the show, they decide to have this Naruto hospital arc where Ellie gets kicked in the ribs, and her ribs are I guess cooked, and she stays in the hospital for a good amount of time. I think they said about 3 months, but I could be smoking the craziest fucking Zaza and I just forgot. I believe it was 3 months that she was in the hospital for. I don't know why they had that be a thing. I don't know why Ellie needed to get her shit kicked in. We needed to spend time in the hospital, because we don't really spend time in the hospital. And what I mean by that is, it feels like time that was just wasted with her still in Jackson. We hear about Dina visiting Ellie in the hospital, but we never see anything, showing Ellie in the hospital. So I just don't know why they had that be a thing of the show. And by the time they're leaving for Seattle, it's no longer winter time. So it's like they just had this weird timeline. But Ellie is making jokes. Ellie in the game, if you don't know, Ellie there was a part of herself that was lost. She isn't in a joking mood. She's usually a no nonsense, and sometimes she's a dick. She is a dick around the people that she cares about. She pushes people away, and she's so obsessed with getting that fucking get back on Joel's killers. There are times where she's very morally questionable, and I feel like everyone in the game is at some point, except for people like Yara and Lev, but that's for another video. I just feel like in the show, she's more or less like a Looney Tunes character. She is making jokes, doing a fucking stand-up comedy routine almost every scene. Now, mind you, this is after Joel dies, and I don't expect her to have the symbiote on 100% of the time. But in the game, she was obsessed. She was losing her humanity after just kills of, revenge kills. Getting revenge, for Joel. Avenging Joel. There was, Dina, and I feel like in the show as well, I feel like they've swapped the roles. Dina is not, now I want to say this as well. I'm a #1 Dina Glazer. I feel like Dina is someone that everyone needs in their life. I feel like Dina is a caramel crunch latte that you get in the morning at 6 a.m. at Starbucks. Dina is a very good person in the game. I fuck with Dina major. I do. But that isn't Dina in the show. Isabella Merce is a great actor. She is. I liked her in Alien Romulus. But it feels like she's playing hot take. But it feels like she's playing herself. The performance feels really tired, like she's exhausted all the time. It barely feels like she tolerates Ellie, and it feels like she's really, honestly, again, like I said, playing herself. She doesn't remind me of Dina. She doesn't walk like she doesn't talk like Dina. She doesn't act like Dina. That isn't Dina. It seems like Dina is more torn up about Joel's death and more on a warpath than Ellie is in the show. Ellie, again, like I said, is jumping up in joy, making jokes, cracking jokes, saying stupid shit, and it feels like Ellie, and I know I'm ragging on the show, but it feels like Ellie is fucking incompetent. It feels like they're going on a Backyard Again Sid the Science Kid field trip to Seattle. More than a actual revenge quest where they're going to kill people. It feels like they're more on a little funny haha girls trip where they sometimes run into different factions and groups and infected. But in the game, Ellie is a fucking demon. Ellie, and it was purposeful. Like, Dina is supposed to be Ellie's moral compass. Dina is supposed to be the person that's kind of pulling her away from the edge. What, you know, in this case, Ellie is trying to basically fucking dive off the edge. And there are times where Ellie will do some dark shit and Dina will make notice of it. And it gets so bad that she starts to lose Ellie, that she basically leaves Ellie for being so consumed with revenge. And in the show, you don't feel that. In the show, it feels like an episode of fucking Gilmore Girls. It genuinely feels like they're not even there for revenge. They're there to get a get back. But Ellie doesn't feel that urgency. She doesn't feel like she even cares most of the time. It feels like if Dina wasn't with Ellie, she would be in a fucking body bag. If Dina didn't travel with her, she would be in a body bag because she's so fucking incompetent. There are times where Dina will explain a plan and she'll have, Ellie explain the plan back to her like she's a toddler. Like, it's mind-blowing. In the game, Ellie is very competent. Ellie is very capable. Very more than capable. She takes out platoons of niggas. She is a fucking demon. There are times where you spend in the game by yourself as Ellie. She's very capable. She uses everything Joel taught her to the best of her abilities. And it just feels like inside of the show, Ellie doesn't even know what the fuck she's doing. Dina's counting out clickers and infected. She's telling Ellie when to run and when to do things. And Ellie is just like, okay, well, you're smart as hell, so I'm right along with you, man.
I hated math. I'm gonna leave you alone now and go and explore the rest of this place because you're smart as fuck and you're figuring it out.
Ellie.
Yes?
I don't feel like this is The Last of Us. And I want to get more into Dina, okay? And I'll make a part 2 about other aspects of the show as the show continues. But I feel like Dina, like I said before, is not Dina. And I want to use this as an example. There is a moment where Dina and Ellie are running through a subway station and they're being basically hawked down by a horde of fucking infected. Like Gears of War 5 horde of infected. And Ellie's able to make it through this little grate where, Dina is stuck on the other end and she can't get through. She's about to get Master Chef chomped on by a fucking runner. And the runner's about to bite on her shit. Swear to God. And Ellie does a 200 IQ move, I would say. It's really the only move. And she sticks her forearm out in the mouth of the runner to stop Dina from being bit. Now, Dina's able to slide through once they blow that fucking runner away. And they make their way. Now, mind you, this theater is across the street from the horde of zombies that are only stopped by the little gate of the subway station. But they make their way into the theater. And Dina, her fear and her urgency, everything is drained from her body. Now, mind you, it was a pretty tense moment when they were being chased by the horde. But it feels like all of her fear is completely gone. It's eviscerated at this point. And Dina is slow walking behind Ellie, staring daggers into the back of her head. And Ellie is kind of trying to get their bearings together, try to, all right, well, damn, that was crazy. We got to board this shit up so no more, infected come and start running our shit. She puts a door, or I'm sorry, a chair on the door to stop anything from getting through. Then she turns back around. And I need you to understand that this scene has to be, I guess it needed to be written for drama in the show, because this scene doesn't make sense from a survival aspect or a relationship character aspect. And I'll explain what I mean. And I also need you to understand that Dina from the game would never fucking do this. Would never do this in any way, fashion, or form. And let me get to it. Ellie turns around and Dina has her blick up at Ellie. I will repeat that again. Dina has her blick up at Ellie, her gun trained on Ellie like she's about to blow her away. And she's crying. She's shaking in fucking fear. She's shaking in her boots, so afraid. And Ellie literally has to plead for her life. She's like, hey, Dina, what the fuck are you doing? Well, hold on. Oh no, the bite, I'm not infected. She has to plead for her life because Dina is itching to blow her the fuck away.
Hey, yo, my outlaw niggas. Switch these niggas.
Now, I will explain how this doesn't make sense from a survival aspect first. When you get bit in The Last of Us, you don't get turned into a runner immediately. That's not how that works. And they've shown us that's not how that works. You don't get turned into a fucking runner immediately like it's World War Z, ready to Diddy Combs anyone in your proximity.
Yeah, I love this drink.
Where you put my bag?
I like when you like this, Daddy.
Yeah, where you put my bag?
Daddy, I like when you
it's right
scrambling
here.
and scraping for shit.
No,
I like that.
It takes hours. It takes nights. We've seen different characters go the entire day without being infected. But it seems like every character in the show, when they see someone they care about, even if, if it is someone they truly care about, they will literally blow them away. Like they get a murder boner to blow them away instantly. And it doesn't make any sense because she's not an immediate threat to Dina. And Ellie has to literally, again, like I said, plead for her life. Dina in the game would never do this. Dina was willing to kill herself to save Ellie in the game from spores. But I'll just show a little scene there.
Ellie, your mask. Here, we can share mine.
No!
What?
Don't take it! Stop!
Ellie, stop! Ellie, stop!
What?
No! Ellie, no!
Stop! I'm not infected. I'm immune. I'm not coughing, do you see? Fuck.
It just blows my mind. And there was a moment where Ellie is like, all right, well, I'm going to go over here and sleep. And when I wake up, I will be the same person you remember. I guess Ellie is able to sleep. Dina posts up like it's Splinter Cell with a gun still trained on Ellie as she watches her sleep. Dishwater falls on Ellie. I guess some time passes and dishwater falls on Ellie and Ellie wakes up and she starts tweaking out because rightfully so. And it feels like, Ellie's like, whoa, hold on. I took 0.5 grams of fentanyl. I'm not an infected. Don't fucking shoot me. Dina then gets up with her gun still trained on Ellie and a lamp next to her face. Now, mind you, she was just worried that Ellie was about to be, infected and she was about to turn into a zombie and she was willing to fucking blow her away. A scene ago. Dina drops her gun and her lamp. And this is the worst fucking writing I've ever seen. I don't even know what we're supposed to get from this character dialogue or actions. Like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to say from this scene. I don't know what I'm supposed to do or say. But Dina says I'm pregnant.
Ellie. I'm pregnant. What?
And they fuck. Yeah, you heard it right. They fuck. Now, mind you, she just threatened Ellie's life and was under the belief that Ellie was infected. And Ellie sticks her fucking hand down her pants and they start fucking. Then they wake up and it's all rainbows and sunshine and smiles. And Ellie is making jokes and Dina is making jokes about the pregnancy. Mind you, these scenes were very different in the game. So different that it isn't even the same. It is a different show at that point. It's a different thing. Like, at that point, it's different. It's completely different.
I can't get you infected if that's what you're worried about. I can't make you immune either. Can you say something?
Ellie. I think I'm pregnant.
What? Don't worry, it's not yours. What are we supposed to do now?
Nothing. I just need to rest for a second.
Are you fucking kidding me? How long have you known?
It was late a few weeks ago.
A few weeks? We could have still turned back.
I didn't know. I wasn't sure, okay? I didn't want to be a burden.
Well, you're a burden now, aren't you? I'm gonna make sure this place is secured. You just rest.
But it just shows that the writing is fucking terrible. And I don't know what they're trying to achieve. They barely feel like they even tolerate each other. There are times where Ellie will say something stupid, and like I mentioned before, and Dina will fucking stare at her. And it feels like they know that the chemistry between Ellie and Dina isn't that good. So they'll kind of reinforce by having a character say something or mention their relationship to reinforce to the audience that they're supposed to be, like, they're trying to remind you that they're supposed to be in a loving, committed relationship. And it comes off very, not really genuine and just weird. But I just don't like the way they're going about this. Ellie doesn't even really seem like her counterpart from the game. Dina doesn't seem like Dina at all. That isn't Dina. Again, that's Isabella Merce playing herself. And when, Ellie, I'll just jump to this. When Ellie tortures Nora, it feels like the whole point of the game was that Ellie tries her hardest to be like Joel. And she tries her hardest to interrogate people like Joel, or to act as ruthless as Joel is. And she gets there towards the end of the game. But in the game, when she's torturing Nora, it's more like this buildup of anger. In the show, they try to make Ellie seem a little bit more sadistic, or a little bit more like Joel, and how deadpan and cold she is. When in the game, she had to amp herself up in anger to do something like that, to torture Nora, to torture information out of Nora. And in the show, they make it seem like she fucking likes it. She's sadistic. Now, she doesn't even show this side of herself. It seems like a different character in the show from, the beginning of the episode. The beginning of the episode, before she tortures Nora, is a completely different person compared to when she does torture Nora. It seems really like a character switch. But that's all I really wanted to talk about. I'm going to make a part 2. Let me know how you like it, bro. But shit, don't watch this shit, bro. Go watch the Clone Wars. Go watch Tales of the Underworld or some shit. Or go watch the Superman trailer, nigga. That shit came out. That shit hard. But anyways, all right, peace.